a beautiful day, and a pleasure is mine to welcome you to the studios of Poly TV. Laro, it's time once again for newspaper review and analysis. I have, as usual, my dear Egbon, Baba Agbalagba of our time, no professor, I call him Mr. Deji Adeyemi. You're welcome again.
Glad to be here again. Thank you very much, Femi.
Thank you, sir. The fallout of the happenings at the National Assembly, especially at the Senate yesterday, dominated what the newspapers were saying in their front pages today. And let me make a quick run through of their headline. The Vanguard today say it's now federal state police services. And of course, the Daily Trust says state police gains ground as Senate passes bill. And what's the point? Caption says is state police bill lands in state assemblies, while the Nigerian Tribune says state police Senate passes bill, empowers governors to appoint CPs. And the Guardian look a little bit different, but it's still talking about the passage of the bill at the Senate yesterday. Senate clears path for state police, retains federal oversight, guardrails. Well, the breaking news, as it were, is that the National Assembly has given nod to President Tinubu's executive bill seeking the establishment of state police in Nigeria because of the insecurity we are witnessing. What is your take on that?
Well, thank you very much. The issue is that this bill is actually a historic one, a landmark bill that will go down in the history, the annals of Nigeria, as a constitutional shift, because from time immemorial, there is the policing system in Nigeria has been centralized, and but the reality on the ground now tells us that the police, the national police, cannot adequately handle the security challenges that we have. And beyond that, it is also a kind of playing out the restructuring thing about Nigeria. You know, for quite a long while, we have centralized things in Abuja, even revenue, operations, and the rest of it. But this time around, it has come down to the level. I want to congratulate Nigerians for this bill, very historic. You won't believe that since the 10th Assembly, the National Assembly came in, this is one bill that passed through all legislative procedures just under 24 hours. And it only shows the fact that we actually need to up the ante, up our game in security matters. And I want to also applaud President Tinubu for this. When you sit back at your quiet moments and look at, okay, what has he been doing, or what the kind of, where are we going, you find that, okay, this is good enough. He has done this. He has done Electricity Act. He has done what else?
Tax reform.
Sorry?
Tax reform.
Tax reforms. Even in education, you find the NER fund. And these are things that will change the drift, as it were, that we are going through. But I want to believe that all this is all right.
Okay. Before now, when we were talking about state police, the apprehensions among many Nigerians is the seemingly or there will be control of the various state governors over the agency in their respective states. The major fear was that deploying or using the state agency against the opposition. I know there are the framework is still being worked on at the National Assembly, and of course those people that work on it. But what is evident now, as at now, is that the state police, there will be role for federal police as well as the state police. For instance, the proposal, the bill is saying from NPF, that's Nigeria Police Force, to Federal Police Service, that's FPS. Those who focus mainly on terrorism matters, cybercrime, and interstate offenses, while the State Police Service (SPS) will focus majorly on local forces, on community policing, armed robbery, and domestic violence in their various states.
Yes, the fears that some state governors might use powers against their oppositions using the police force or using the police service now. What happens is that the fears are not entirely misplaced, because we have had this before in the First Republic, when the local police were used against oppositions here and there. But as things remain, I think what we have, the little have clear, the clean bill is yet to come. But the state police service will largely be independent of the federal, and of course, but in the meantime, they cannot be totally different. There's still going to be a National Police Council, which embraces all matters about policing,
Okay.
and then there will still be the State Police Service Commission. And these things can be organized in such a manner that the people themselves will just be the beneficiaries. What we need is peace, for us to sleep and sleep with two eyes closed.
Okay, I hope one day we'll be there. Like you always say on this program, let's get to the bridge, then we'll think of how to cross
Crossing
it. Still talking about insecurity, something that is related to insecurity. The front page of a Guardian newspaper, there's this minor report at the footnote, and it's quoting Makinde now. Let students return to schools, or your government urges NUT. Let students return to school, or your government is pleading with the NUT. Do you see that plea as right now, or as very, very right for the situation? Because since the NUT declared a national program or protest in Oyo State, it has ordered all schools to be shut because of the insecurity. Now Oyo State government let them come back to school.
I don't see anything Governor Makinde calling out that all schools should go and get those people out of that forest first. And then, of course, who wants to kill himself or herself? I mean, it's just like committing suicide. When you say your state, we are not talking about Ibadan or other towns in the state. We are talking about the rural communities. And these rural communities have such facilities, or schools, hospitals, and the rest of them. Fix the insecurity in your state, and then people will go back to school. Nobody who wants to make himself or herself a sitting duck. People, they should just do something and give us information as it happens. Let us know. Let the parents be at peace, or let them have a hope that they are going to reunite with their relatives again. But saying go to school, go and do what in school? If you are in school, and you start looking at your back. Maybe something. So I don't support that.
Okay, there's another story that is related to the insecurity we're talking about. I'm still with the front page of a Guardian newspaper. Federal government backs U.S. sanction on Nigerians BDC bureau de change linked to terror financing. Yesterday, it was reported that the United States, Donald Trump, for instance, sanctioned one bureau de change in Nigeria, identified to have a link to financing ISIS crisis in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that Nigeria have had this intel about this terror financing, the information, the organization, and people that are directly linked to it. Dubai sent to us, the United Arab Emirates, and even America sent lists to us. But up till now, we didn't hear of a government prosecuting anybody or any organization. Now, US is taking somebody out, singling out to sanction that Nigeria is now backing and saying, okay, we want to do something. Must we be reactionary? What are we doing with all this information? We have all this.
Yeah, that's the question. Must we be reactionary? Because at the end of the day, we should be very proactive in whatever we do. This list has been there for almost 3 years when Saudi Arabia sent a list. And there are some names there, almost both individuals and even corporate organizations. They have not been brought to book because I'm yet to know anyway. But in the meantime, all manner of procedures must be engaged in order to nip this crisis in the bud. And of course, what I mean by that is that let both kinetic and non-kinetic ways be applied. Let people get to know, let people know about what you're doing, and let them be able to link up with you, give you information. I mean, all these things, if you ask people, there are things that they can do. Look at the victories that the military have recorded in recent times. It was because they now work with the communities. The communities know where the bandits are. I don't like I want to call them terrorists. They know where they are. The communities know, but they cannot do anything. There's a trending video yesterday about where some bandits were in a convoy on motorcycles, and then the police team was waving them, and the rest of it. What can they? They can, in fact, the police team that I saw and the convoy of the bandits, they dare not stop the bandits. And all such things we can crush this thing. The political will must be applied, and then let them give the troops, the operators, those in the field, let them give them strong backing, equipment, the right weaponry, and information. We crush them. I believe so.
Okay, if we have the political will and we are so determined, we can crush the insurgency, as it were. So says Mr. Dijademi. It's not my thinking. It's not my Let's go to another topical story before I leave the front page of a Guardian newspaper. There's this minor report, but very, as minute as it is, very important for what is happening in Nigeria today. Presidency detached from reality, says opposition, after Onanuga's no hunger remark. Since yesterday, the story that is getting tractions on the social media, quoting the presidential spokesperson by Onanuga, saying the kind of hunger Nigerians were crying is not what he's saying. That Nigerians are lamenting. What kind of hunger do you want, Nigeria? Is it when they continue to die on the street that you want to believe that Nigerians are hungry?
I really am sad about what Ononuga said, Mr. Bayo Ononuga. Come to think of it, how can you say that there is no hunger in Nigeria? I mean, because you moved from maybe Ogba, where he was working before, and into the
The Observatory Villa.
villa, and then he's not seeing very clearly again. I'm sorry to say that. But in the meantime, everybody knows. Even the refrain, Ebin Power, started in Lagos. And how can you say you haven't seen the level of hunger? This reminds me of Umaru Diko
Yeah.
of those days.
Saying
Umaru
Nigerians
Diko
are
says
yet
that
to
after all, people have
we are
not
not
started
eating from the dawn from the
from the
dustbin.
dustbins. So, but of course, it's all over there. Even Nigerian Bureau of Statistics comes up with figures that shows that we are having a hyperinflationary trend in the markets, in name it, whatever you. So let us. I think what he ought to have done is to try as much as possible to explain to the people, not saying that there is no hunger or something in that manner. I also read that he was also defending the president, that he didn't say that if we don't get electricity, I will not, don't vote for me or something like that.
Mr. Lee,
But
let
I
me
can say
uh,
that this particular statement, it's okay. Tinubu could have said it because he has an ambition and he wants to go in there and work.
let me ask this question. As somebody who is well experienced in information management and journalism, at which point do you separate personal opinion from your official duties? Because by virtue of his position, he's appointed to defend the government and say the opinion of government or his principal or whatever. Can this be the position or the opinion of Mr. President on Nigerians that we are not hungry?
It may not generally be, and it may just be that their brother is just trying to show that he's doing his work. It cannot, I mean, whoever, Tinubu himself knows that things are not easy in Nigeria. And that's the thing about perception. He is giving out a feeling that things are not as bad as they are seen. But in the meantime, and people will believe him that that's the mind of the president or the administration. So he doesn't need to go that route at all. He just needs to uh, explain to us what is happening. Those who follow the trends, the things that are moving on, knows that it's not as if Tinubu is playing. He's working hard. Left to me, he's working hard, but the manifestation cannot be now. I've just said a few things about what he has done and the rest of it. So people like it. Look at the police system. There were comments from stakeholders and the rest of. They hailed the move, and same thing with electricity. With electricity, many states had even floated their electricity regulatory boards, meaning that in another 2 years, there should be electricity. That's the way I want to look at it.
Okay, let's move forward because time is not our friend. We don't have luxury of time. We'll just talk about this political story or development before we wrap up. The front page of there's a minor report on the front page of Daily Trust which says 2027 PDP candidates to sign agreement against defection. A few days ago, we read something similar about NDC compelling their members and those who are seeking political offices to come and sign the agreements not to defect to other political parties in case they lost the election or they couldn't win in the primaries if that is the case. But against the background of the constitutional provision of free association, freedom to move, now somebody is compelling you not to leave your party if you feel aggrieved. Can this fly or promote the kind of 2027 we wanted?
It cannot fly. What I think is that PDP should go ahead and do much more. Are you aware that there are 2 lists now ready for transmission to INEC from PDP? The Turaki-led PDP has its own list of candidates. The Wike group also has its own list. So we are waiting to see who INEC will take authenticate its own list. So because you cannot stop people from associating with whoever he likes. And though I want to believe that as we move on, we should get to a point where the issue of defection would have to be tackled with, because people defect for no just cause, and there is, even despite the fact that there is this legal angle that says that if you are defecting,
you lose your seat.
You lose your seat. But how many of the senators and the House of Representative members have lost their seats? No. So they have to stop it. The Nigeria's politics must grow to be ideological. You must love what you are doing. There must be a reason for it.
Okay, let me attempt a defense for that. It's because our democracy is still nascent.
Nascent?
We are still growing. Maybe when we grow.
Nascent?
Maybe when we grow, we will overcome this
seemingly unending nascency or growing. So,
okay.
It's so sad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyemi, for finding out to be here again. Of course, the development in our political environment, the democracy as well, is something we will continue to interrogate as events unfold.
Yeah.
As we move towards 2027, like rightly mentioned, very many things will still happen now.
Sure.
But I want to plead that our politicians should play by the rule, so that not to hit the politics so too much, so that we have peaceful 2027.
Yes.
Once again, I want to commend you and thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Femi.
That's the program this afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow with more refreshing stories. Take care.